Oh my god. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. The predictions now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat. Once again, we are loading into Amygdala. Once again, of course, we do have all the rocks in the center of the map. Shorter rush distance by ground, so something like an earlier push. I mean, we saw it in the last game. Going for these earlier queen walks across the map are a lot more viable. But in a ZvT, it's a bit of a different story here. Technically, Solar could go for a Roach heavy style and go for a Roach all-in, but that isn't really Solar's playstyle. It's not really his MO. He is much more of a standard player, specifically in this matchup. But we'll see. We'll see what he goes for. Likewise, HonMonO is also quite unique as well in this matchup. He often does all-in against Protoss players. That is true. You know, HonMonO, he very rarely macros against Protoss. Against Zerg, it's a bit of a different story. HonMonO, he is more willing to play it out slow. To wall up, to wall off, to turtle, and to embrace a longer, later game. We'll see if that's where he heads this time. Curious. I'm curious. As I was going to say, he's already got a really weird start here, going ranks first into a factory further back in his main. This could just be a one-base all-in. Ay. Okay. I was like, no, yeah, he only cheats against Protoss and not really against Zerg. I mean, this is one of those exceptions. As he's going Marine first, no add-on on the racks yet. Going for the factory, I would imagine into like maybe a one-base Hellbat all-in with Hellions, with Hellion production, I would assume. It's just really weird because, I mean, in a way, his production is further back, so he won't be able to wall off, at least not early on. Overlord does confirm the lack of CC. It is going to be a 1-1-1 Widowmine drop. Things are getting ready. You can see Solar, he's getting ready for potentially an all-in. We'll get eyes on the depots. Solar playing it safe, did make extra lings. And the Marines will reveal themselves. And now Solar knows that the Rax was not proxied. And what exactly are we doing? That's what I want to know. Overlord goes down, that does supply block Solar. One base BC? Okay, so it's going to be initially a Marine Widowmine drop into BC production. Off of one base. Now, this can catch a player off guard, especially if Solar undermakes queens. If he doesn't make too many queens, if he doesn't make any spore crawlers, then, I mean, the game could just end. But Solar's playing it safe. He's got how many? He's got 3 queens so far. A bit of a lower queen count. Is droning. Getting his 3rd. Ling does spot the drop. Is aware. So HonMonO does move out across the map. And Solar, he is making extra queens. There we go. 3 more queens on the way. That's what he needs. As many queens as possible. HonMonO will supply book Solar once again. Does get an Overlord. Pushing towards the 3rd. Mine drop gets baited out on one drone. Got a hot pick up here by HonMonO. Dropping into the main. Lings are in position. And Solar defends. Solar does defend. Yamato's in production. Oh, that's a pretty big investment here by HonMonO. Rushing into Yamato. Okay. I mean, that means that this should be mech, right? This should be more than just one BC. Should be continuing purely BC production. Mine shot goes off, gets a queen. Oh, the medevac! Oh my god. Medevac takes a lot of hits. Does escape, just barely. And Solar, he's taking negligible losses here. Just like a drone, a queen, a tumor. Solar's looking secure. He's on 40 drones. First BC's teleporting across the map. Into the main. Solar, he does respond. And Queens are keeping up. Meanwhile, drop here on the right-hand side. Lings are also in position. Oh. BC will support the ground army. Hatchery under fire. Lings, they collapse in. Oh, the mine shot. Ooh. Decent mine connection. But the Widow Mine falls. There are plenty of transfuse. Oh, Queen does survive. And this BC has not done enough. Now, HonMonO does preserve his Marines at least. Does save them. And the BC still being very annoying. But the Queen's going to be rotating. They keep up. One Queen goes down to the Yamato. But can the BC escape, actually? The Queens are coming in for a surround. Uh-oh. And they come in for the surround. Clutch transfuse. And the first BC does fall. Brutal loss. Now, thankfully, HonMonO expands. He's getting his natural. Behind this, additional BC production into Cyclone. Again, it's BC into Mech. Third CC is almost done. Or it is already done at this point. But he needs to get more damage done. Solar, he's almost on the 3-base economy. Like, his drone count is very high. Things they collapse in. They're not going to be able to get much done. Marines, good positioning behind the mineral line. Solar does spot extra factories and the Cyclone. He knows. Spire's on the way. You could argue the Spire's a little bit late, but after the first BC went down, it's fine. Solar even catching the Viking. Bearing in mind as well, the Spore does extra damage. Oh my god. Spore putting in a lot of work, but he will not save the Spire. Is going to be denied. Massive pickup. Oh. This Queen's going to be rotating over. Imagine being slower than a Queen. I mean, the BC, it's a big boy. It takes a while to get going. It's drifting in space. As HonMonO is going into Mass Cyclone. Bearing in mind, this is the old Cyclone. As Macfield Accelerators is back. So he is planning to go Mass Cyclone here. Meanwhile, we do see Solar embracing Roach Corruptor. He's knocking down those rocks, gaining map control, taking the gold. Securing himself. Now, the Spire was delayed, so this drop play still has potential. HonMonO moving out. Oh. Who approved this map? Oh, don't worry about it. Aye. As HonMonO backs off, Solar, he's close to maxing out, and you can see just how much he's eclipsing the supply of HonMonO. Again, remember, it was a 1-base build initially from HonMonO, so his natural was late, his natural saturation was late, his 3rd base delayed as well. Like, HonMonO needs so much time to recover from the early game, just because of how aggressive he was, and Solar's maxed. He's about to max out. The turrets will help. So save the mines. Oh my god, they do connect. BC forces teleport. And Medevac goes down. The Roach Ravager does push forward. Getting on top of the 3rd CC. The Roach Ravager, though, a little bit exposed. The Cyclones, they hold their own. Again, they can trade very well here against these Roaches. Oh god. Again, after the most recent proposed patch notes, it did show that Cyclones are going to be viable, a lot more viable again against Roach Ravager. Solar has to retreat. He respects the position. He did not get into the mineral line. HonMonO, he holds. He holds quite nicely. Despite the supply deficit, And Solar now is in a bit of a rough position. Now he's starting +1 upgrades. Infestation bits on the way for Hive Tech. Solar still has a lead, but I mean that was a good fight for HonMonO. Was an efficient fight. As Rock's being knocked down. BC patrolling towards the left-hand side. See HonMonO just throwing down more sensor towers. Looking to take the gold. Now, because Solar has controlled the center of the map, this gold base is going to be very difficult for HonMonO to get up and running. I mean, there's creep everywhere. And he has to pivot away. Does float over towards the right-hand side. Solar knocking down those towers. BC does reveal itself. I believe a couple of corruptors did survive. Yeah, they do respond. At the same time, Lings are headed towards that third. Towers going down. A couple of SCVs. Blue from aliens, they will survive. They will defend. Oh, the CC! Oh my god! Is piled down. Massive pickoff. HonMonO late to lift. Oh god! Corruptors, they do run into the Cyclones. Brutal pickoffs. Now, thankfully, there is no more BC. There are no more BCs, so the Corruptors, they did kind of run out of their usefulness a little bit. I say a little bit. Technically, Solo could have gone into Greater Spire and into Broodlords. So not the best use of that supply, but regardless, here comes the Fungal. And it looks down the army. Looks down the Cyclones. So many of them go down. They get surrounded. Cyclones do fall. There's, what, 6 of them left. They're kiting back, and it looks like Solar, he will break through this. Stutter stepping forward. Speaking of Greater Spire, it's on the way. So Solar's getting ready for Broodlords. Where Ravager pushing in. There's 4 Cyclones left, down to 3. And GG gets called. Solar, he has broken HonMonO, and he will take game number 1. GG. A very chaotic start to the game. HonMonO going 1 base BC, which is very committed. And remember, HonMonO did not get enough damage. He got, like, what? 2 queens, got an overlord, got a drone, got a couple of lings. It just was not an efficient enough trade. And with that, GG well played. Solar does snowball out of control, does take game number 1. Now we're getting ready for that second game. We'll see where our players take us. We haven't seen Snowpiercer yet tonight. Haven't seen Snowpiercer. But we are jumping into ley lines. Okay. Maybe jumping into ley lines for the first time in today's tournament. I'm ready for it. Okay. BC, a hot air blimp, basically. But yeah, when you invest that heavily and that much into BCs that early on, and to only make 2 of them as well, like it was just, yeah, very awkward build for HonMonO. Very awkward. We'll see what happens in game 2. What kind of wild shenanigans does he have in store for us? So spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the number 2 seed of the tournament, favored to make a deep run and make it to the finals. Can he be stopped representing Team Falcons? It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. Going for the proxy. SCV moves out across the map towards the south. Not just one, a second SCV as well. So it's going to be proxy 2 racks Marine, I would imagine. On the right hand side. Oh, my apologies. Did I say 2 racks? Is 3. It's going to be 3 racks here from HonMonO. Third SCV moves out across the map. Very committed play here from the Terran. The goal here is to bunker rush the natural, to knock it down, and to go for the kill. This is going to be hyper committed. Technically, you can try to macro out of this, but it is still quite committed for the Terran player. A lot of damage does need to be done. Now Solar, hatch gas pool, standard opener. Maxes are amassing. They are on the way. When it comes to this map, it does feel quite defendable as well. I mean, there's a lot of choke points, a lot of ramps as well here, especially towards the center of the map. But we won't be able to embrace the map too much here as the Raxes are finishing up and Marines are on the way. Again, no gases behind this, just purely Marine and bunker. Now Solar, he does have his Overlord parked outside of his natural, so he does have some time to react and respond. As HonMonO does push in, and more importantly, HonMonO, he only reveals 2 SCVs. He reveals 2 SCVs, bunkers are being thrown down, and Solar, he responds by pulling the boys. Does respond, throw to bunker, gets placed, the boys have arrived, and I believe, is that a full wall? It is! Alas, we do force a cancel. Drones are making their way towards those Marines. Up! Do they get a surround? They're going for it. They're going for the surround, they do drone drill past, they get 1, they get 2! 2, 3 Marines get caught out. A big catch here for Solar. Not bad, but that was how many? That was 3 drones falling. Meanwhile, Lings have arrived, bunkers are denied, and Solar holds. Solar does hold, queens are amassing as well. There's going to be 2 queens for Solar alongside these Lings. Spine crawlers on the way. And the bunker's never finished. You know, part of a bunker rush requires the bunkers, Pappy. Without them, these Marines are so fragile. There's going to be a lot of DPS, sure, but now there's a second spine crawler. Solar taking this very seriously. He knows how committed HonMonO is. The boys are being pulled. It's all or nothing. HonMonO is completely all in. One way or another, the game's about to end. Either HonMonO kills Solar or he dies trying. The boys have arrived, and Solar's going to have to pull his own boys. 1 spine crawler already done. Solar, he has a transfuse, soon to be 2. There we go. HonMonO, he does commit. Ooh, Lings, they don't quite engage. Queen's pulling back. There's the first transfuse. There's a second transfuse. And Lings, they go straight for the Marines. They get locked down. SCV's out of position. GG gets called. And Solar will survive. We'll take the series 2-0. We'll advance on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. Solar will take it. Again, Solar, he was so quick to respond, so quick to get on top of the Marines, just to buy time for his Lings to deny those bunkers. And once the bunkers fell, that was game. Then and there. There was just not much that could be done from the side of HonMonO. And with that, congratulations. Congratulations to Solar. He will advance on to the semis, and he's waiting for his next opponent. He is going to be lying in wait here